أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين والطاهرين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته وأهل بيته وأشياء محبيه وأمته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي Respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, this is going to be the third video in Hajj series, which will be talking about Hajj and its components, fara'id and wajibat, inshallah, tabaraka ta'ala. Basically, when we say Hajj, it means a pilgrimage, that is which is the fifth pillar of Islam. So the literal meaning of the word is to make an intention or to go somewhere by making an intention of going there. As an Islamic terminology, it is to visit the Kaaba, the house of Allah, and to perform specific acts of worship in a fixed period of time. So this is what the Hajj, and we have spoken uh, up to an extent on Umrah in the second part, Alhamdulillah. So, inshallah, as you know, this is Syed Mohiuddin Qadri, Pir Pasha. May Allah forgive my sins and all the shortcomings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Al-Hajj Ashru Ma'lumat, فَمَنْ فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد تقوى واتقوني يا أولي الألباب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that some months are appointed for Hajj, which is pilgrimage, which are Shawwal, Dhul-Qa'dah, and the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah. So he who undertakes to perform Hajj, the pilgrimage, during these months and makes it obligatory for himself, then he must neither commit uh, sexual intercourse with the women nor any other sin, and nor should he quarrel with anyone during Hajj, which is the pilgrimage. These are pilgrimage days, and whatever good you do, Allah knows it well, and collect the provisions required for the journey to the hereafter. And surely the best of provisioning is the fear of Allah. So fear me, O men of sound judgment. So inshallah, we'll be talking about Shurut al-Hajj, the condition of Hajj, the pillars of Hajj, and the imperative, the wajibat of Hajj, fara'id and wajibat of her Hajj. And we'll go step by step, which is number one, Ihram, that means coming into the state of Ihram, and then going to Mina on 8th of Dhul-Hijjah, and Arafah will be on 9 Dhul-Hijjah, that's called Arafah, and Muzdalifah on 9 Dhul-Hijjah night, and Mina 10 Dhul-Hijjah, and then make Makkah to 10 Dhul-Hijjah to make a Tawaf Ifada or Tawaf Ziyarah, which is one of the integral part of the Hajj. And Mina, stay Mina in 11 and 12, if possible 13. That's optional, but it has, if anyone cannot leave before sunset of 12th of Dhul-Hijjah, then he must stay on 13. Makkah, the last days, we'll talk about Makkah, how we should be spending the days in Makkah al-Mukarramah. So let's talk about the conditions of Hajj. According to the jurisprudence, there are 8 conditions that must be met for Hajj to be performed correctly. If any one of these conditions is not met, then Hajj will not have been performed correctly. So these are the conditions that I'm going to talk. First, to be a Muslim, not and to be in a state of Ihram. And the third thing is the time, meaning Hajj must be performed on specific days. For example, Tawaf al-Qudum, Tawaf al-Umrah, and Sa'i cannot be performed before the days of Hajj begin. So Wuquf al-Arafat means staying on Arafah cannot be before midday of 9th or after the morning of the 10th, and Tawaf al-Ziyarah cannot be before 10th. So those are the timing we must abide to these rulings. And the fourth condition is the place. This means that being in the location that is assigned for certain acts. For example, here a tawaf must be done in Masjid al-Haram, wuquf must be done in Arafat and Muzdalifah, stoning the shayateen must be in Mina, and sacrifice must be done within the boundary of Haram. So these are the things that we must be very considerate. And the fifth one is sense and judgment, meaning a person cannot irrational and unable to make sound decisions. Has to be sane. Intelligence, meaning a person cannot be insane. Not engaging in a sexual relationship after Ihram, means in the state of Ihram and before Wuquf, otherwise Hajj is annulled and will not count. So those. And the eighth condition is performing Hajj in the same year that Ihram is worn. Therefore, if Hajj is missed this year, then perform Umrah and remove the Ihram and put on a new Ihram for Hajj the following year. So those are the conditions. Let's talk about the fara'id, the obligatories of Hajj, which are must. And they are wearing the Ihram. This is the condition, the shart. Wuquf al-Arafah, staying in Arafah at any time between the beginning of Zuhr on the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah till the break of dawn on the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. So this is the first pillar, the Rukn. And Tawaf al-Ziyarah, this is the second Rukn, which is first four circuits of Tawaf. This is called the second pillar, although we do 7 circuits to make it one tawaf. The first 4 are considered as the fard, and the rest 3 are wajibat. We'll be talking about that. To make an intention, always have an intention. We have talked about intention because whatever the deed we do, because our deeds are dependent upon the on the intentions. That's what the Prophet said, Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. So always make an intention, like hearted decision, and you can utter from the tongue, which is the mustahab, praiseworthy. Performing everything in an order, that is putting on Ihram first, then performing Wuquf al-Arafah, and then Tawaf al-Ziyarah. So it has to be in order. And now there are 27 wajibat acts in Hajj, and if any one of them is missed, then one goat or lamb has to be sacrificed as a penalty, which is called dam. The first, crossing the miqat with ihram. We have to be in the state of ihram before crossing the miqat, and we can we can assume the ihram before miqat, not after the miqat. Then the wajib is missed, and then we have to go back and make it. Performing sa'i between Safa and Marwa. These are the wajibat of the the tawaf. Beginning the sa'i at Safa, that's the place. Performing sa'i on foot if able to, and sa'i must be performed after tawaf, after making the 7 circuits of the Kaaba. Okay, if you perform wuquf staying at Arafah during the day, then ensuring that you stay in Arafat until sunset, not before sunset. We have Okay, number 6 is including some portion of the night in the wuquf, that is a few minutes after Maghrib. Leave Arafat upon receiving instructions to leave after sunset. So just follow the guidelines of the muallim, the agent. Stopping in Muzdalifah, praying Maghrib and Isha Salah together in Muzdalifah in the latter part of the night. Stoning the Jamarat on 10th, 11th, and 12th. Those are the Wajibat of the Hajj. Stoning Jamaratul Aqba, the big one, on the 10th must be before the hair is shaved or cut. Performing Rami stoning means pelting the Jamarat for each day on that day itself. And Halq shaving or taqsir, which is cutting the hair, like trimming the hair. Shaving or cutting of the hair must be during the days of sacrifice. Shaving or cutting of the hair must be done in the precincts of Haram, means within the boundary of Haram. Sacrifice must be offered by those performing Hajj Qiran or Hajj Tamattu, which we will be talking again, although I have touched upon this one in the previous video. This sacrifice has to be offered in Haram and must be during the days of sacrifice. And Tawaf Ziyat, also known as Tawaf Ifada, must be performed at least most of it in the days of Hajj. Tawaf has to be from the outside of the Hatim. Make sure we are not uh, going from within the Hatim. Starting Tawaf from the right side. Doing the tawaf on foot if able to. Being in wudu when performing tawaf. The satar that must be covered should be covered during the tawaf. Praying 2 rakats of Tahiyat al-Tawaf at Maqam Ibrahim after tawaf. If it is not prayed, there is no dham payable. Ensuring Rami means pelting stones to the Jamrat, and sacrifice, shaving hair, and tawaf are done in that order, are not swapped around. That's not recommendable. Tawaf al-Wida, also known as Tawaf al-Sadr. This is wajib upon all those who live outside the miqat. If a woman is on her menstrual cycle, then it is not wajib upon her. Not having sexual relation from staying at Arafat until the hair is shaved. To do otherwise, you'll have to offer a goat or sheep or a lamb as a penalty, as a dam. Now, let's talk about the recommended of Sunnah. There are 15 of them. Number 1, Tawaf al-Qudum, which is a Sunnah, the first Tawaf that people perform who come from outside the Miqat is called Tawaf al-Qudum. And it is Sunnah for those performing Hajj al-Ifrad or Qiran, not for those performing Hajj al-Tamattu. And inshallah, I recommend Tamattu because we'll be staying in Makkah al-Mukarramah before 8th of Dhul-Hijjah, so we'll talk about it. Beginning Tawaf at Hajr al-Aswad is starting from there. That's the starting point for the circumambulation, the Tawaf. Doing Ramal in Tawaf al-Qudum or Tawaf al-Ziyarah. Running between the two green lights between Safa and Marwa. The Imam delivering a sermon in Makkah on the 7th. These are all Sunnah. The Imam giving a sermon in Arafat on the 9th. That's a Sunnah. That's not Wajib. The Imam delivering a sermon in Mina on this 11th. Sunan. If they are missed, it's okay. There is no penalty for this. Leaving for Mina after Fajr on the 8th so that 5 Salah can be performed in Mina. Means Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and then Fajr on 8th of Dhul-Hijjah. Spending the night of the 9th in Mina. Leaving Mina and heading for Arafat after sunrise. Performing ghusl for Wuquf al-Arafah, which is Sunnah, not Wajib. Spending the night in Muzdalifah on the way back from Arafat. That's Sunnah. Leaving Arafat and going to Muzdalifah before sunrise, which is after Fajr. Spending the night after the 10th and 11th in Mina. If staying in Mina for an extra day, then spending the night after the 12th in is also Sunnah, inshallah. Going to Abtah, which is Wadi Muhassab, even if only for a moment. And Hajj sites and distances, Ihram for these are the step-by-step contents. Okay, as you can see, Hajj going to the Hajj sites, which we'll be talking Ihram for Hajj, Mina on 8th of Dhul-Hijjah, Arafat 9th Dhul-Hijjah, Muzdalifah, which is on 9th Dhul-Hijjah at night, which is the beginning of 10th Dhul-Hijjah after Maghrib, and Mina, coming back to Mina on 10th of Dhul-Hijjah, and then going to Makkah on 10th Dhul-Hijjah, and Mina, staying in Mina 11th, 12th, if possible 13th Dhul-Hijjah. The Makkah, the last day for the Tawaf al-Wida. We'll talk again on the pillars and obligatory acts of Hajj in nutshell, and changing the niyyah in Hajj and Umrah. Those are the number one, Ihram. Number two, going to Mina and Arafah, as we just mentioned. Mina 10th and Rami. On 10th of Dhul-Hijjah, we'll be doing a Rami, means throwing pebbles at Jamrat al-Aqaba, the big shaitan. Sacrifice the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah will be very busy day. So we'll be doing a Nahar, means sacrifice, and we'll be informed by our agent whether our sacrifice is done or not. Inshallah, we'll get the message on our cell phones if we have it, or our agent will inform us. And then after knowing that the Nahar is done, then we'll be doing Halq or Taqsir, which is shaving or trimming the hairs, and then going to Makkah al-Mukarramah for Tawaf al-Ifada or Tawaf al-Ziyara, the same thing. Don't get confused with Ifada and Ziyara. Sa'i, and after doing that, we'll be doing Safa and Marwa, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Mina, on staying in, coming back to Mina on 11th, 12th, and 13th, staying there and doing again throwing pebbles at all three Jamarat. Makkah the last day, inshallah, with Tawaf al-Wada done. So this is just a Hajj site that just to get some familiarity here. As you can see, the Makkah al-Mukarramah there, subhanallah. And this is called Mina, and this is Muzdalifah. This is Arafah, and then that's Aziziyah. Many people stay there, and that's the Jamarat area um, in Mina, and Masjid al-Khaif there, very close to the Jamarat, and al-Mash'ar al-Haram. That's Masjid al-Namira in Arafah, and Mount Arafah there. that will be very crowded. And then here is one of the blessed cave of Hira. It's also known as Jabal an-Nur, where the first wahi was revealed to, means the first revelation uh, came to our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So this is one of the blessed, although it's not a part of it, and inshallah we'll be blessed to go there, inshallah. And then a cave of Thawr, Jabal al-Thawr. And as I said, the cave of Hira, the Jabal al-Nur, and the cave of Thawr are not the visiting there are not the part of the Hajj, but going there just to remind ourselves and take some blessings from there, how the Wahi was revealed, just to remind, just for the reminder. Subhanallah, as you can see, from Makkatul Mukarramah to Mina is 2.8 miles, which is 4.5 kilometers, and then from Mina to Muzdalifah is almost 3.2 kilometers, which is 2 miles, and then from Muzdalifah and from there to Muzdalifah it's another. It's just distance, as we can see from there. It's almost it's just a and we will be I know our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam and other Sahaba, they mostly walked on these streets, subhanallah, but will be provided with the buses. And that's the Mount of Arafah, and that's the Arafah. But anyway, I'm just gonna go a little faster on this one. And this is the Masjid al-Haram, and this is Jamarat area, and these are the routes that have been set. And Faisaliya tunnel, many people walk from there and use the tunnel to reach from Makkah to their places. Another pedestrian road that take us there. Subhanallah, this is one of the beautiful picture. And as you can see, pedestrian tunnels. Many people walk, subhanallah, just to revive the sunnah. This is how it looks like. Or from the different routes to go to Mina, and there are some buses which are available, and basically we have to follow what has been instructed to us. And Ihram, which is the essential part of Umrah. Those who are coming, if you're coming outside of Africa, Europe, Medina, Munawwara, assume Ihram at before the miqat. And if you are in Medina, you make Ihram from miqat Dhul-Hijjah, and then if you are coming from outside of Haram of Makkah, like Jeddah, assume Ihram from your place where you live. If you are inside the Haram of Makkah, if it's your residence, then assume Ihram from your place as well. Unlike Ihram for Umrah. So after having completed a Tawaf al-Qudum, which we have spoken in the previous Tawaf al-Qudum, that's for the Tawaf of arrival. It's like Tahiyatul, it's Tahiyatul Masjid, but it's Tahiyatul Masjid. This is Tahiyatul Haram, which the the people who are doing a Hajj Ifrad and Hajj Qiran, they do the Tawaf al-Qudum. Not for those who are doing Hajj Tamattu, because they'll be staying in Makkatul Mukarramah for a few days, and for Qiran and Ifrad, they'll be in the state of Ihram until they go to Mina on 8th of Dhul-Hijjah, which is a day of deliberation, Yawm al-Tarawiyah. Those performing, as I said already, those performing Hajj Ifrad or Qiran will already be in Ihram, while those who are performing tamattu should perform ghusl according to Sunnah after Fajr Salah and wear the Ihram and I'll make a niyyah. The niyyah has to be from the heart, but uttering from the tongue is praiseworthy, which means Allahumma inni uridu al-hajj fayassirhu li wa taqabbalhu minni nawaitu al-hajj wa ahramta bihi mukhlisan lillahi ta'ala labbaik bil hajj. Then start reciting talbiyah, which means, oh Allah, I am intending to perform Hajj. Make it easy for me and accept it from me. I intend to perform Hajj and have worn the Ihram for it only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, here I am at your service. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And then start reciting talbiyah. Now recite talbiyah aloud 3 times and recite salawat upon our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa softly and make dua. You continue until you throw the pebbles at Jamarat al-Aqaba on 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. The Haji will depart for Mina after sunrise. They will perform Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr, which I just said it, in the morning of the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah. All the Salah to be performed in their respective times. And here is Mina, and these are the beds, and very beautiful inside. Uh, Fireproof. It's a very good trends, Alhamdulillah. Now, stay with your group to find your camp. It's very easy to get lost here. So just know here is one of there's just praise Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr in there. Times with Qasr means shortening Zohar, Asr, and Isha to 2 rakah. And just know your location, familiarize yourself, and just lock down the uh, the stay where you are staying. In case if we get lost or something, we know our place where to go. Like many many phones have Google Maps or something, where you can uh, save the address where you're staying so you can come back in case if you get lost. Subhanallah, use your time to review the manasik of Hajj and recite Quran, litanies, zikr, tasbih, durood, salawat upon our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and attend some lectures from the scholars, because this is praiseworthy, because we are here for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just for a vacation or having it's not a vacation, it's just a call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are all the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will be those who are performing Hajj are the Diyufur Rahman, the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And gather your thoughts and prepare for the next important day. So this is the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah. This is the Masjid Khaif, Mina. It is reported that 70 prophets salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhim ajma'in prayed in this masjid. Subhanallah. So blessed. This is another just a view of the masjid. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Look at the beautiful Mina. And spending the night in Mina is a sunnah for some scholars. It is wajib, but according to Hanafi scholar and some others, it's a sunnah. This is the boundaries of Mina, and this is Muzdalifah, and going to Makkah. That's just as soon as we leave from there, that's a way to Makkah. Just for your information. And that's Azizia Street. That's not too far from Mina. Jamarat, they're subhanallah. That's how they are. They are the buildings and many floors, and Very beautiful arrangement there where we can, it's not like many years back, they used to have a lot of accidents, but Alhamdulillah, this is very, very peaceful area now. And many floors, I like up to 4 floors, I believe. Oh, yeah. Masjid al-Khaif, Masjid al-Khaif, okay. I'm just gonna go a little bit. Wadi Muhasir, this is the place that we should be um, going fast. This is Wadi Muhasir is a small valley between Mina and Muzdalifah. It is here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed Abraha and his army of elephants. This incident is mentioned in Surah Al-Fil, subhanAllah. It is a sunnah for Hujjaj to walk fast and briskly to pass this area, as the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has done. As it was a place of punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the people of uh, elephant, Ashab al-Fil. Abraha al-Ashram was the viceroy of the Negus, the king of Abyssinia, Habasha. He was a Christian who ruled over Yemen, building an imposing cathedral in Sana'a of marble and gold-plated wood and naming it Al-Qulais. He intended to divert the Arab pilgrimage to come to Sana'a instead of going to Makkatul Mukarramah in al-Qura. He was jealous that the Kaaba should be the place uh, that attracts pilgrims, the Hajis, and he wanted this status for his church. When he reached Wadi Muhassar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent little birds, the Ababil, with the pebbles in their beaks. As they flew over the army, the birds released their stones, which devastated the army, causing all the struck to fall down dead. So this incident took place shortly before the blessed birth of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. You might not see that, but just for the information. There are some train station, station number 2, number 3, and there is a slaughterhouse. And that's how people walk. And this is just Masjid al Bait al Aqaba. This is one of the blessed place. I go there and just to try to remind myself where our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gathered many the people of Yathrib, and after become Madinatul Munawwara, they were the one who came and gave bayat to our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's called. Oh, here we go. Masjid Bait al-Aqaba. In this location took place the first pledge of allegiance made to the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam by 12 prominent men from Yathrib tribe of Al-Aus and Al-Khazraj in the 12th year of the prophethood, after the announcement of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prophethood actually. The second pledge of allegiance, known as the Great Pledge of Al-Aqaba, took place in the same location where 73 men and 2 women from the people of Medina al-Munawwara were present. So the second Aqaba, the pledge, is considered an extremely important historical event and turning point for the Muslims, from a state of weakness and oppression to a state of strength. It laid out the foundation of the new Islamic state based in Al-Madinatul Munawwara under the leadership of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Abu Ja'far Mansur, the Abbasid king, built this masjid in year 144 Hijrah in the location of the pledge. The masjid consists of an open court and a shaded arcade in the front. The masjid is about 40 meters from Jamrat al-Aqaba. it coordinates our longitude, whatever that. This is the information. So this is just go there and just to remind ourselves. Here are the names of the bridges which we can, just for the information. Subhanallah, look at the picture that was taken in 1885. Oh boy, subhanallah, subhanallah, how the people used to come and make their tents. Allahu Akbar, subhanallah, subhanallah. Now look at this. So after sunrise on the day of Arafah, depart for Arafah, which is the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah, while making talbiyah, takbir, and zikr. This is the and here wuquf al-Arafah, the same thing, because the scholars has mentioned. That is the reason uh, I have to mention here. Shurut, those are the conditions of staying in Arafah, wuquf al-Arafah, to be Muslim and being in the state of Ihram. The wuquf al-Arafah must be performed in the Ihram of Hajj, not the Ihram of Umrah. It is a condition of the wuquf al-Arafah that it is performed inside the Arafah and its boundaries. It should not be performed in the batn al-Arafah, which is outside of the Arafah. There are the signposts that's very thanks to the government, which clearly indicate the boundaries of Arafah. It must be performed within the right time. That is, it should be performed on the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah from the moment the sun starts setting from its zenith, which is called Zawal, and till the break of dawn, which is Subh Sadiq, on the next day, 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. That's the timings. So we have to have Wuquf al-Arafah. That's a short condition. Be in the right place and right time for a moment, whether in the state of ablution or not, or whether the woman stay in a state of ritual impurity or not. Simply there being there is obligatory. It's a fard. Okay, let's talk about karaha of Wuquf al-Arafah. This means makruhat of the dislikes of staying in Wuquf al-Arafah, which is not appropriate. Terminating the Wuquf and starting to leave Arafat before sunset. This is not correct. This is not good. As long as you are still within the boundaries of Arafat, whereas to leave the boundary of Arafat before sunset is forbidden, which is haram. So, and delivering sermon before Zohar or Zawal, okay, and do anything other than turning towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the start of Wuquf until sunset, which is not good. Talking about any worldly things from the start of Wuquf until sunset, that's not good. That's highly disliked. Once you are certain that the sun has set and delaying leaving Arafat unnecessarily, this is karaha. Try to leave, inshallah will be scored. Leaving Arafat before sunset. Praying Maghrib in Isha, Maghrib or Isha in Arafat, that's a highly disliked. The Maghrib and Isha has to be prayed in Muzdalifah. Subhanallah, let's talk about the fadail of the day of Arafah. This is one of the beautiful days, the day of dua. Our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, which our Blessed Mother Sayyidina Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu tabarak wa ta'ala anha has reported that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, there is no day on which Allah ransoms more slaves from the hell, from the fire, than the day of Arafah. He draws closer and closer. Then he boasts about them before the angels and say, what do these people want? Subhanallah, which is Sahih and recorded by Imam Muslim and Imam Nasai, Imam Ibn Majah. When the sun begins to shine on Mount Shabir, opposite of Masjid al-Khayf, leave Mina and head towards Arafat. Standing in Arafah, Wuquf al-Arafah is the most important part of Hajj. If a person does not perform this, then Hajj will not have been performed. The time for Wuquf Arafah is from midday on the 9th until dawn on the 10th. Standing in Arafat at any time during this fulfills the requirements of the Wuquf. However, it is compulsory, wajib, to remain in Arafat until sunset on the 9th. If a person leaves before sunset on the 9th, then a penalty, which is dam, is compulsory. Uh, Imam Tirmidhi has recorded this hadith from Abdurrahman bin Ya'mar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, and whoever sees, means attend the Arafah before the rising of Fajr, then he has performed the Hajj, means on the 10th actually. It is preferred to stand close to Jabal al-Rahma. Do not climb to the top of Jabal al-Rahma. Pray Zohr and Asr at Masjid al-Namira. Pray 2 rakat each combined at the time of Zohr after listening to the Imam's sermon. Here is the Masjid al-Khif. It may be very difficult to go to the Masjid al-Namira because of the crowd. In this case, you may pray in your camp with your group in the respective time. This saves a lot of precious time. So the wajib, the rukun is to stay in Arafah. So we normally pray in the tents. We can combine or pray in the respective times. If we are praying in Masjid the Namira, then that's a different case that we have to combine. Namira is not a part of Arafah, but the extension part of the masjid within the limits of Arafah. The original masjid outside Arafah, built in 2nd century of Hijrah, is the place where the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam delivered his famous farewell sermon and prayed Zohar and Asr before moving inside the Arafah. Masjid al-Namira, this is just the Arafah border. It's just one side is inside the Arafah, the other portion is outside of the Arafah. That's called button of Arafah. So join the Zohar and Asr if you are in the Masjid al-Namira. Otherwise, pray the Zohar and Asr on the respective times if you are praying in the camp. But you can combine the prayers also. So after Salat, move to your place inside the limits of Arafah and stand facing the Qibla, raising your hand, making dua and reciting talbiyah. This is the day of dua. The Arafah is the best day of supplication, du'as, Allahu Akbar. According to the hadith of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, says that khairu dua, dua يوم عرفة وخير ما قلت أنا والنبيون من قبل لا إله إلا هو وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. This is one of the best dua that the Prophet Muhammad says, that the best of supplication is the supplication of the day of Arafah, and the best of what I and the prophets before me have said is لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Subhanallah. None has the right to worship but Allah alone, without partner. No, to Him belongs to all that exist, and to Him belongs the praise, and He is the powerful over all things. Subhanallah. This is one of the best dua. This is highly recommended dua. And we can recite Quran, we can recite salawat upon our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam and other litanies. Fasting on the Arafah for the Hujjaj is not encouraged, as it may result in weakness, which in turn will result in negligence in worship on this very important day. So this is the day of dua. Indulge, involve yourself in dua and be nice to each and everyone, and pray for yourself and everyone. Uh, this is the hadith recorded by Imam Abi Dawud wa Nasai ibn Majah, Ahmad ibn Khuzaimah wal Hakim, subhanallah, that it was narrated that Ikramah said, I entered upon Abu Huraira in his house and asked him about fasting the day of Arafah at Arafah. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, the Messenger of Allah, Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallama, Naha means forbade fasting the day of Arafah at Arafah. Subhanallah. Naha means he did not encourage. Spend the whole time of wuquf in humbly and sincerely praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making dua, tawbah, istighfar, reciting the Quran, reciting salawat upon means Durud al-Sharif. Also make dua for forgiveness and success for yourself, your parents, and maghfirah for your parents and yourself and your family, friends, and for all the Muslims, and for the peace of the world. Allahu Akbar. Recite talbiyah during the wuquf, stay of Arafah. When I say talbiyah, means labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata wa lakal mulk la sharika lak. This is what the talbiyah is. Recite hizb and other dua that you may carry with. This is Arafah, and that's the boundaries of Arafah. That's the mount of Arafah. That's very, very, very crowded. So it's better to stay in our tents. If you can go there, that's good. Otherwise, stay within the Arafah. That's the Wadi Valley of Orana. This is just a walkway to the Muzdalifah. Many people walk since they want to walk, and we'll be provided buses. So those are the names of the routes. Just remember. The good thing is they have uh, there are streets and their names and roads and all. Just Subhanallah in Arafah, 1985. Subhanallah, look at these people, the blessed people, how they Subhanallah, look at their tents. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah. So here, leaving Arafah after completing Wuquf al-Arafah means staying of Arafah on the night into between the 9th and 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. Leave Arafat after sunset and head towards Muzdalifah without praying Maghrib Salah. If you decide to walk, then go with calmness and tranquility. No jostling, no pushing people. Whenever you find room, you can go faster. Otherwise, don't push the people. This is how the companions described how the best creation of Allah, Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, left Arafah that night. Now, leaving for Arafah, make sure you don't have you don't leave until make sure you don't leave until after sunset, not before sunset. After sunset. And this is the road to Muzdalifah. On the way to Muzdalifah, remain busy in reciting Talbiyah again. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And then remembrance of Allah. Do zikr and recite the prayers and salutations upon our Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and du'as. And one more thing that we should bring to our attention, that some Hajj operators ask the pilgrims to, means Hajis, to get in the buses before sunset to get ready to leave after sunset. This is considered as leaving before sunset because getting ready to leave is considered the time of leaving, even though you may not pass the limits of Arafah until sunset. Anyway, there are some pitfalls related to Arafah fasting, the day of Arafah. Although in the Sunnah for the pilgrim is not to fast the day. That's the day of dua. Allahu Akbar. Leaving Arafah before sunset means stay until after sunset is a wajib, or even a rukn, means the pillar of the Hajj. Standing outside the limits of Arafah. Okay, this invalidates the rukn and hence the whole Hajj. Allahu Akbar. So very, we must be careful. The wasting time in sleeping around food, in idle talk, or wandering around for no purpose, this is not right. Just keep yourself busy in, pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, helping others, be nice to everyone, bring water and whatever the necessities that, are provided or given to us, try to help others, basically. And this is Muzdalifah. This will be very crowded, and I highly recommend people to go to washrooms and before coming to Muzdalifah. Sometimes it's crowded, although they have a lot of washrooms, but some people I highly recommend them uh, to go to bathroom before going to Muzdalifah, before leaving the Arafah. And on Muzdalifah night, which is the night of Dhul-Hijjah, in Urdu we say Shab of Dhul-Hijjah, or Urdu Arabic. When reaching Muzdalifah, pray Maghrib and Isha Qasr, 2 rakat together in Isha time with one Azan and 2 Iqamat, regardless of whether they are prayed alone or with Jama'ah. I do not pray any Sunnah or Nafil between the Fard, means first pray 3 rakah of Maghrib and then 2 rakah Qasr of Isha, and then perform the Sunnah of Maghrib after the Fard of Isha, and the Sunnah of Isha, and then Witr, which is three rakat of Wajib Witr. And the recommendation is to pray the Fard of Maghrib, then Fard of Isha, then Sunnah and Nafil of Maghrib, followed by the Sunnah and Nafil of Isha. Pray, subhanAllah. And then collect the 49 or 70 pebbles. Here, more practical. It is also means many people think that this is the only place we can collect. No, you can collect from any place. It does not have to be Muzdalifah, but that's recommended. 49 to 70 pebbles, not rocks, pebbles, the small size, the pebble size, as you can see, the size, not too small or too big. Rather, they should be about a size of chickpea or pit of a date. I see many people big rocks, which is not right. And do istighfar, takbir, tahleel, tasbih, salawat upon the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and most important is the talbiyah. Whenever we feel anxiety or some kind of hardship, just recite talbiyah, everything will be taken care of, because these are means as-sabr ala al-bala, means we have to be patient when we are afflicted or when we are going through trials. So this is what the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has practiced and commanded us. So on Muzdalifah, after praying Maghrib and Isha, just you sleep until Fajr. In the morning, perform Salatul Fajr. Remember to read the Sunnah of Fajr as well. Then continue with Istighfar, Takbir, Tahleel, Tasbih, Durood, and Talbiyah, and engage in Dua. Okay, it is permissible for weak women and children and those who accompany them to leave after the middle of the night. After praying Fajr, face the Qibla and recite Takbir, Tahleel, and make dua until the sky becomes very bright. Then you leave for Mina before the sun rises, calmly while reciting Talbiyah again. It's highly recommended sunnah. When you come to the river valley of Muhassir between Mina and Muzdalifah, which I just talk about, you hurry because this is the place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down his wrath and punishment to the people of Elephant, Ashab al-Fil, which is mentioned in Surah al-Fil. Continue reciting Talbiyah. And here we're leaving from Muzdalifah to Mina. And it's just the direction, so make sure to follow, but we'll be guided by the agents um, and scholars. That's called Mashar al-Haram. Mashar al-Haram, subhanallah. Wadi Muhassir, just walk briskly from there. And here are some pitfalls related to Muzdalifah. Spending the night outside of the limits of Muzdalifah is staying the night within Muzdalifah is highly recommended, and thinking that the pebbles have to be collected from Muzdalifah, as I just mentioned, it does not have to be from there, but it's highly recommended. Leaving Muzdalifah before Fajr for fear of crowd. This is only for the weak people and the women that the Prophet Muhammad has given the permission. Staying in Muzdalifah until after sunrise. The sunnah is to leave close to sunrise. Before leaving after sunrise was a practice of pre-Islamic period of Jahiliyyah, but there is no dam or anything. Now let's talk about some timings. Leaving Arafah, very important on the day of Arafah, the 9th Dhul-Hijjah. Do not leave before 7, I would say, p.m. And pray on the day of Arafah or delay Maghrib, pray until you reach Muzdalifah. But in any case, do not delay Maghrib and Isha until Fajr time. Although pray anywhere if you don't have time to reach Muzdalifah before the Fajr. Many times we get into that situation. Leaving Muzdalifah, the time to leave Muzdalifah is shortly before sunrise, which is approximately 6 a.m. SubhanAllah, as the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam did. Leaving after sunrise was a practice of the time of Jahiliyyah. Spend the time from Fajr to before sunrise in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Women, children, and the weak, and those who accompany them can leave Muzdalifah after the middle of the night, which could be around 12 a.m., 11:42, 43. Coming back to the 10th, that is the 10th Dhul-Hijjah is the Hajj, which is Hajj al-Akbar, we can say, subhanallah, and very, very, very busy day. On this day, after performing Wuquf Muzdalifah a little before sunrise, leave Muzdalifah and head towards Mina. On the way to Mina, recite dua from the books of Hajj you may carry, and along the way remain busy in remembrance and praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talbiyah and durud sharif and dua. When you reach the Wadi Muhassir, as I said, just pass through quickly with hurried paces, or if possible run through it. You arrive to Mina the morning of the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. This is the busiest day of Hajj. You will be performing uh, the manasik. The number one is stone Jamarat al-Aqba, means pelting the pebbles on Jamarat al-Aqba. Sacrifice an animal, Hadi, will be notified for the sacrifice, inshallah. Shave or trim off your hair, and then take a shower if you can, and go to Makkah to do Tawaf ifada with sa'i and come back to. And here is the jamarat. You stone the jamarat al-aqaba only on this day when seven small stones, slightly bigger than the chickpea, as we mentioned, as you know, you see. You recite takbir while throwing uh, throwing each stone. Okay, so you cease reciting the talbiyah when you start throwing stones. We'll be reciting Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, Radman Lishaitan, Warida Lirrahman, Subhanallah. And there is some beautiful saying. The Sufia said that, you know, when you are hitting the jamara, means pelting the stones, just think that you are taking off your satanic qualities from our heart, like hasad, jealousy, pride, prejudice, those kind of spiritual diseases that we may carry in our hearts. And we many times we don't even realize, and we practice that. So just think of that and hit by that saying Bismillahi Allahu Akbar Rajman Lishaitan Waridar Lirrahman. Only the large shaitan, the Jamarat al-Aqaba, needs to be stoned on the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. If the Rami of this day is not performed during the day of the 10th or on the night of 11th, that is after Maghrib on the 10th, then repeating it and paying a penalty are both compulsory, which is Dam. All three Jamarat have to be stoned on the other days, which is 11th and 12th, or possibly 13. The time for Rami is from sunrise on the 10th until dawn on the 11th. However, it is sunnah to perform it between sunrise and noon on the 10th. It is permissible, means jais, to perform Rami from midday to sunset, and it is disliked to perform it between sunset and dawn at night actually. Performing Rami just before dawn of the 11th will fulfill the requirement, but delaying it until then without reason is highly disliked. If women are weak or if women or weak males are not able to perform Rami during the day, then they should perform it during the night. If a healthy person appoints someone else to perform Rami on their behalf because of tiredness or fear of overcrowding, then the Rami will not be fulfilled, and one who does this has to offer a sacrifice as compensation. So very much means if you are able to do it, then do it. This is the bridge and exits, as you can see from this, and properly. Okay. This just shows how we can get to that one, you know, with an animation. So just for your information, as you can see the entrance where we enter from coming from Mina and going to this. Although it is in Mina, that's how we enter. Those are the entrance, or those are the escalators. Many people take escalators. Many people go through the bridges, the sidewalks, or the pathways. Those are the exits, as you can see. Exit escalators, just to get some familiarized that this is how we walk and go inside, and then that's how people come. Okay. Just to get some familiarity. Okay. Once we are done, this is the exit part. That's how we exit. There are some stations. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. How to rummy. How to rummy. Number one, stand approximately 6 or 7 feet away from the Jamara in such a manner that Mina is on your right side, Makkah on your left side, and Jamarat right in front of you. If there is overcrowding and danger of being crushed, then stand wherever you find space and perform rummy, means pelting stones. Take one pebble in the right hand and raise the hand up high, saying Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, as I just mentioned, and throw the pebble at the Jamara. Keep repeating this until you have thrown all 7 pebbles. Recite Bismillahi Allahu Akbar first, and you can see Rajma li Shaitan wa Ridal li Rahman. Bismillahi Allahu Akbar Rahman li Shaitan Ridal li Rahman Allahumma ja'alhu Hajjam Mabruman wa Sa'yan Mashkuran wa Dhamman Maghfura. This is the beautiful dua, which means Allah's name I begin with. Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, in order to disgrace shaitan and please the merciful one. I am performing Rami, and then say, "Oh Allah, Allahumma ja'alhu hajjam mabrura wa sa'yan mashkura wa dhamman maghfura," means, "Oh Allah, accept this Hajj, accept my efforts, and forgive my sins." It is better to stone the base of the pillar. It is not conditioned that the pillar must hit the pill. Sorry, the pebble must. Let me repeat. It is not a condition that the pebbles must hit the pillar, means jamarat. It is acceptable if they fall inside the boundary wall. However, if they fall outside the wall, then another stone must be thrown in its place. Upon throwing the first pebble on the first day, stop reciting talbiyah. As soon as you throw, then stop reciting talbiyah, the labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Throw 7 pebbles during Rami. It is not permissible to throw less than that. If no pebbles are thrown or less than three are thrown, then a penalty dam becomes wajib, compulsory. If 4, 5 or 6 pebbles are thrown, then offer charity, which is called sadaqah, equivalent to sadaqah fitr for each pebble that was missed. It is against sunnah to have a large interval between throwing each of the pebbles. It is necessary to throw the pebbles one at a time. If all 7 are thrown at once, then that will only count as one pebble. So we must not throw all at once. It has to be uh, 7 different times. Rami must be performed with items that are from the elements of the earth, meaning those things with which tayammum can be performed: stones, pebbles, soil. Rami cannot be performed with items that are not from elements of the earth, like gold, silver, animal droppings. The pebbles that are accepted are raised up, and the ones that are not accepted remain at the base of the pillar. It is not permissible to perform rami with the pebbles that lie around the pillars. It is disliked to perform rami with pebbles that you know to be impure. If you do not know then they are impure, then it is disliked, but it is better to wash them. It is better to wash them. Many people say, why are you washing? But just ignore them. It is disliked to perform Rami between dawn and sunrise on the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. If Rami is not performed at all, then only one penalty, dam, is compulsory, wajib. If pebbles are gathered for all 4 days, 10th through 13th, but you want to leave Mina after Rami on the 12th, then you can give the pebbles to anyone who needs them. Otherwise, leave them in a clean place. It is disliked throwing leftover pebbles at Jamarat, and it is not necessary to bury the leftover pebbles. Like if Rami is performed differently than the way described, then it is better to repeat the Rami. This is not the sacrifice that is performed on Eid al-Adha. Rather, it is a sacrifice to offer gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Hajj. So it's about, and now we are talking about animal sacrifice. This sacrifice is compulsory wajib on those who perform Hajj, Qiran and Tamattu. Even if they are poor, it is preferred mustahab for a person performing Hajj Ifrat to offer a sacrifice, even though there is no problem if he does not offer it, even if he is wealthy. Those performing Hajj Qiran or Tamattu cannot shave or cut their hairs until the sacrifice has been offered. If they do this, then they must pay the penalty. Those performing Hajj Ifrat can have their hair shaved or cut even before the sacrifice. The rules and regulations for this sacrifice are the same as for the sacrifice of Eid al-Adha. It is permissible to offer a sacrifice of a lamb, goat, camel, cow. Animal sacrifice for Hadi must be performed within the Haram of Makkah, which is Makkah and Mina, not in India or Pakistan or even Jeddah or Medina. The time for slaughter is the 3 days of Eid, which is 10th, 11th, 12th of Dhul-Hijjah. 7 people may share in one camel or cow. If a person intends to perform Hajj Qiran or Tamattu but does not have a sacrificial animal, nor does he have enough money to buy one, nor does he have anything that he can sell to get enough money to buy an animal, then such a person should fast for 10 days. Now coming back to animal sacrifice, if you made a tawqil, means deputizing for animal sacrifice, you bought a coupon. This ritual will be performed on your behalf. Contact the agent if you are with the group and have him inform you about the sacrifice to move for halq, which is shaving the head, or taqsir, which is trimming the hair. Shaving. Then you shave off all of your hair or shorten it, and shaving is better. That's the sunnah, great sunnah. If you shorten your hair, it has to be from all over the head, not part of it, only like the sides, or You start with the right side of the head. This is the sunnah. The women shorten her hair the length of a finger joint, like this. It is permissible for a man to shave or shorten his own hair, and for a woman to shorten her own hair. Halq or taqsir are part of the manasik and have nothing to do with the prohibition of ihram. You're still in this. state of Ihram until you're done with the halq. And this is called first tahallul, means after shaving, go to your camp in Mina, take a shower, put on new clothes and fragrance, or you can even go to your hotel if it is close to you. When you have stoned the Jamara, everything becomes lawful for you except the husband-wife relation, even lustfully hugging, kissing, or looking at the parts of the spouse. So you may wear your clothes and use perfume. This partial freedom is called small tahallul, at-tahallul al-asghar. Sittana Aisha Siddiqa salamullah alaiha wa radiyallahu ta'ala anha um, said, I used to send the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he wanted to assume ihram, and uh, also on finishing ihram before the tawaf around the Kaaba. So we can apply uh, the uh, the perfume on the ihram clothes also prior coming into the ihram. So we are done with that. Now going to Makkatul Mukarram, Tawaf al-Ifada, also known as Tawaf al-Ziyara or Tawaf al-Hajj. After performing Rami, sacrifice and shaving or cutting the hair on the 10th, take a bath according to Sunnah, perform wudu, put on normal clothes, and apply perfume. Means normal clothes, not the two sheets. Eat some sacrificial meat and head for Makkah on foot. Uh, it is Sunnah. It is also allowed to travel to Makkah by car or bus. Remain busy in remembrance of Allah along the way. Perform this tawaf just as you performed the voluntary nafli tawaf before. Recite the same du'as that were recited before. Um, for those performing Hajj Qiran or Ifrat, if you have done Ramal in the Tawaf when putting on the Ihram for Hajj, then do not perform Ramal in this Tawaf. Otherwise, Ramal must be performed in this Tawaf. Uh, this Tawaf is performed in stitched clothing. There is no istaba in this Tawaf. We have talked about istaba and Ramal before. Once you have completed 7 circuits, come to Maqam Ibrahim and pray the 2 rakat with rakat, which is Wajibat Tawaf, Salah, and Dua as before you did. Uh, After Tawaf al-Ifada or Tawaf al-Ziyara or Tawaf al-Hajj, you are in a state of complete tahallul. All restrictions of Ihram are lifted. Come to Multazim and hug it and make dua as mentioned before in the previous video. Now drink Zamzam again. If the sa'i for Hajj has not been performed earlier, then perform it is now as normal. The method of sa'i is exactly the same as has been mentioned before. The same dua should be recited in the sa'i. Perform 2 rakat nafil salah close to the mataf in Masjid al-Haram after sa'i has been. So Alhamdulillah, after this, all further means integral acts of Hajj have now been completed. All that is left is to spend 2 or 3 days in Mina and stone the pillars, shayateen before. Now, therefore, after completing this tawaf, come back to Mina. It is sunnah to spend the nights of the 10th, 11th, and 12th in Mina. And the sequence of manasik on the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah that narrated Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam near the Jamara, and the people were asking him about questions. This is one of the O Messenger of Allah, I have slaughtered the hadi, means animal, before doing the rami. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do the rami now and there is no harm. Another person asked, O Messenger of Allah, I got my head shaved before slaughtering the animal. The Prophet Muhammad replied, do the slaughtering now, so and there is no harm. So on that day, when the Prophet was asked about anything as regards to the ceremonies of Hajj performed before or after its due time, his reply was, do it now and there is no harm. So subhanAllah, we have that opportunity. SubhanAllah, Tawaf, talking about Tawaf al-Ifada for women, there are some situation that Tawaf is one of the ritual that requires a state of complete purity, tahara. Women in their menses are not allowed to perform Tawaf until they become clean. A female Hajj means a female pilgrim who is expecting her menses to start should leave Muzdalifah right after the middle of the night and head directly to Makkah, perform Tawaf al-Ifada. Once done with the Tawaf, which is a pillar of Hajj, she will be able to perform all manasik, sa'i, rami, etc. even after her menses start. Now let's talk about planning for women for Tawaf al-Ifada, which is Tawaf al-Ziyara, which is the pillar of the Hajj. When planning for Hajj, women should make their return flight on a date that would allow them to become clean after the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah in case their menses start before they are able to perform Tawaf. To determine the earliest return date, a woman should add the number of days of her usual period to the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. For example, for a woman whose monthly cycle is 5 days, the earliest return date should be the 16th of Dhul-Hijjah, means 10 plus 5 plus 1. So it is always good to add more days in case the period lasts longer than usual. Now let's talk about women's issue. If a woman in her menses and she has not performed Tawaf al-Ifada, Tawaf al-Ziyara, which is the integral part of the Hajj, should wait in Makkah until she becomes clean. She can also leave Makkah if she is able to and come back when she becomes clean to complete her Hajj with Tawaf al-Ifada, which is Wajib, means which is the Rukun of Hajj. During this wait period, she is not allowed to have conjugal relation with her spouse because she is still in a state of Ihram, regardless of how long this wait period may take and regardless of the location. Let's talk about a case of extreme necessity. This is something, I've been asked. So in case she cannot wait in Makkah or come back for Tawaf al-Ifada, means she has no time, what can she do? Then she can perform the Tawaf out of extreme necessity and offer Budana, which means sacrifice camel or cow, based on the opinion of Hanafi and Hanbali scholars. She can also take special contraception pills to stop the bleeding and perform the Tawaf. In another case of extreme necessity, in a situation, woman is experiencing menses and needs to perform tawaf ziyara, which is again integral part of Hajj, while her seat for return has already been booked. What can she do? Okay, the solution is that if possible, she should get the reservation of her seat cancelled and perform tawaf ziyara after attaining purity. If the cancellation of reservation causes difficulty for her or her traveling companions, she can perform tawaf ziyara in the state of in the same state because of compulsion. But badana will be due to her. Badana means the sacrifice the camel or cow. Further, it is also necessary for her to repent as entering the masjid and performing the tawaf in the state of uncleanness are both sin. If she succeeds in repeating tawaf ziyarah after purity from menses by the sunset of 12th of Dhul-Hijjah, expiation will become void, means that is badana will no longer remain due to her. If she manages to repeat the of ziyarah after purity after 12th of Dhul-Hijjah, the expiation of badana will become void, but that of dam will still be due to her. Okay, now in a situation where women is experiencing menses after Tawaf al-Ziyarah, integral part of Hajj, and before Tawaf al-Wida. So the answer is that after performing the Wuquf al-Arafah, stay in Arafat, and the Tawaf al-Ziyarah, if menses started before performing the farewell circumambulation of Tawaf al-Wida, one does not have to perform Tawaf al-Wida, and no expiation means no kafara or fidya means the payment has to be made. The mother of the believers, Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, uh, narrated that it was mentioned to the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Safiya bint Huyay got her menses during the days of Mina. So he said, he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, will she prevent us from departing? They said she has done Tawaf al-Ifada. So the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in that case, there is no harm. Back to Mina, 11, 12, 13. Stay in Mina for the days of Tashriq and their nights. It is better to stay in Mina during these days than going to Makkah. This is Sunnah of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Uh, uh, according to Imam Adam Hanifa, the Hanafis, it is Sunnah. If anyone who is staying outside of Mina during these days and coming back to Mina for the pelting Rami, there is no penalty for them, but for the non-Hanafi scholars like Imam Malik, I believe, considered the staying in Mina is wajib, obligatory act of Hajj, but it is highly recommended sunnah to stay in Mina. Okay, Mina, coming back to Mina again, as I mentioned, Mina 11, 12, 13th, if possible. Stone the three Jamarat uh, with each with seven pebbles in each of those days after Zawal, when the sun moves from its zenith, that's called Zohar time. After the first and the second Jamrat, move forward to the side and stand facing the Qibla for dua and by raising your hands. And remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that and remember Allah during a specific number of days. Then whoever hasten his departure in 2 days, there is no sin upon him. And whoever delays until the third, which is the 13th of Dhul-Hijjah, there is no sin upon him. For him who fears Allah and fear Allah and know that unto him you will be gathered. Allah. You may leave Mina before sunset if you wish after you perform the Rami on the 12th of Dhul-Hijjah. Staying to perform the Rami on the 3rd is preferable as it is the Sunnah of the Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we have a choice, but make sure we must leave on 12th before sunset. If we stayed after sunset, then we must stay in Mina on 13th of Zulhijjah. And here are the pitfalls of Rami. Performing the Rami during the days of Tashriq before Zawal, midday. The Prophet ﷺ did the Rami in the all 3 days after Zawal, means after Zohar. It is permissible to delay it until Asr or even to the night if it's too crowded. Throwing the pebbles all at once, they have to be thrown one by one, not all together. Thinking that the pebbles has to hit the post or the wall. So it is sufficient to cast the pebble into the circled area. That's enough. Putting the pebbles into the circles area without casting, they have to be pelted. Casting more than 7 pebbles in matters of ibadah, worship, prescribed numbers are to be strictly observed. Pushing and showing means that's not right. Stay calm as much as possible and do not hurt anyone while performing the rummy. Most of the accidents happen here when people are pushing or hasten towards pelting the pebbles. Just stay calm. This is the place of sabr. We are all here for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Throwing objects other than small pebbles like shoes, sticks, umbrellas, and large rocks, please do not do that. This is not the Sunnah way. Many people, they get carried over and they start swearing, and this is not right. And making takwil means tithing in rummy without a valid reason, like illness or something. So a wajib is missed is in doing so, and therefore an animal sacrifice is due. Spending the days of Mina and their nights outside of the Mina, which is not good. Permission is given only to those with a valid reason, caring for the sake, or someone who cannot afford staying in Mina. Otherwise, a sunnah is missed. Although it says wajib, but according to Hanafi and I believe Imam Ahmad also says that it is sunnah. There is no penalty for this one if he's not spending nights in Mina. Some pilgrims go to Makkah to perform Tawaf al-Wada and return to Mina to do the Rami. Tawaf al-Wada, not the Rami, should be the last act of Hajj, but according to Hanafi scholars and some, I believe, I don't recall, but other scholars, they do, according to them, we can do the Tawaf al-Wada while we are in Mina. We can go and do the Tawaf al-Wada, no harm in it. Leaving Mina before the 12th of Dhul-Hijjah, pilgrims can leave Mina only on the 12th after performing Rami, after Zohar, means Zawal, uh, and after doing after pelting the stones on 3 Jamarat, or on the 13th after Rami as well. This is the old picture, subhanallah, 1953. Mina borders. So coming to Makkah after Mina, after you have finished the Rami on the 12th or the 13th of Dhul-Hijjah, second or third day of Tashriq, you have completed your manasik with the exception of Tawaf al-Wada. You go to Makkah and stay there if your package arranges for extra days in Makkah after Hajj. While in Makkah, make sure you pray with the Jama'ah in the masjid for the exceptional reward of that salah. Make nafil tawaf, voluntary tawaf, as we do tahiyatul masjid. We can, when we go into this haram, where the Kaabatullah, where the Baitullah is, when we go inside, make a tawaf and try to make as much as possible. If we have strength, we can make a umrah, subhanallah, for ourselves, for also others, or the deceased person like father, mother, or any relatives that you may want to do. And then this is the last thing that we do, which is the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that none of you should depart until he makes his last act, tawaf of the house, which is one of the wajibat. The farewell tawaf, which is called tawaf al-wada, is an obligatory act on every except menstruating women who are excused. Only for the that's something that is given to the women. The Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to carry Zamzam water with him in water skins and containers, and he used to pour it upon the sick and give it to them to drink. Subhanallah. So we can follow the Sunnah. When you finish the tawaf, you leave the masjid walking normally, not backward. This is just in nutshell. Number one, assume ihram from the miqat to your residence. If you are in Makkah, clean yourself, take a shower, put on ihram, and uh, go to Mina by make an intention and recite talbiyah. The second thing that we do is we go to Mina on 8th of uh, Dhul-Hijjah, arrive in Mina in the morning, spend the day and night there, pray Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr in their times with Qasr. Leave Mina for Arafah after sunrise. On the third day is the day of Arafah, which is the ninth Dhul-Hijjah. Arrive Arafah before Zohar on the ninth. Pray Zohar and Asr combined with Qasr. Early in the time of Zohar, spend the day in supplication and remembrance of Allah. Leave Arafah for Muzdalifah after sunset. And in Arafah, we can, if we are not praying in the Masjid al-Namira, then we can pray Zohar and Asr on their respective timings. On the fourth day, which is the night of Muzdalifah, which is the night of ninth and morning of 10th, which is we arrive in Muzdalifah at night, pray Maghrib and Isha combined with Qasr, sleep the night until Fajr, pray Fajr early in its time and then make zikr, leave for Mina shortly before sunrise, which we have mentioned in great details. And on the fifth day of Hajj, the fifth thing of the Hajj, this is the fourth day of the Hajj actually. Arrive in Mina in the morning, go to Jamrat al-Aqaba and stone it with 7 pebbles. Offer a hadi, animal sacrifice, call it qurbani for Hajj Tamattu. Shave or trim off your hair. That's called first tahallul, means many restrictions are lifted. Only the husband-wife relation is not lifted. Take a shower and put on normal clothes, go to Makkah, make a tawaf al-ifada or tawaf al-ziyara and also called tawaf al-hajj. The fifth day of Hajj, which is go to Makkah. Fifth thing, which is the fourth day, is still the fourth day actually. Proceed to Masjid al-Haram and do a tawaf al-ifada and then sa'i, and with this all the restrictions are lifted. Go back to Mina and stay there for 11th and 12th if possible, 13th, and those are the days called Ayyam al-Tashriq, and stone all 3 Jamrat every day after Zohar. And there are some people who says that before Zohar, which is not correct. Many ashab will lie, but according to the majority of these scholars, it should be after Zohar. If anyone does before Zohar, he has to repeat the the pelting again, Rami. And then eighth thing, which is the last thing that come back to Makkah and do a Tawaf al-Wada, then we are done. If we have more days to spend in Makkah, just do some extra Umrah if you have strength. Then come back. Subhanallah, there are so many things that think of Hajj as an edifice you undertake to build, and there are so many things that are its pillar are the 5 pillars of Hajj, and its walls are the 27 obligatories, and it Its windows are the 15 Sunnah of Hajj. Its art is the desirable acts, mustahabat, and its foundation is sincerity, ikhlas, with love and tranquility and sabr. Its roof is the taqwa of Allah, subhanallah. The door is the reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tawakkul. I think